Welcome back to the Who is Will Sims podcast. Today my guests are Blackleg Miner. They're a rock band from the Baltimore, Maryland area. They have an EP out and a new one on the way. So stay tuned for the story behind how their band was formed, their influences, and what the future holds for them. Welcome to the Who is Will Sims podcast, guys.
Thank you.
I'm the Will Sims of the Who is Will Sims podcast.
No way.
I'm here with Blackleg Miner. You guys are, rock band from the Baltimore area. Why don't you guys go around and introduce yourselves, say what you do in the band.
I'm Nando, and I fuck with everybody else. And I play bass sometimes.
I'm Matt. I play guitar and do backup vocals, and I am the baby of the band, so everything is always my fault.
I'm CJ, and I have an instrument called a guitar, and I sing.
I'm Bo, and I'm the drummer, and I make a lot of noise.
Nice. And you sing, do you write a lot of the lyrics and stuff too, or?
Yeah, the majority of it, and I sing lead.
Cool. Awesome. And how long has Blackleg Miner been a band?
Wow.
Well, that's a question for you.
Yeah, the very first version of the band would have gotten together in 2017, I think. This was before any of these guys were around. And we've just been through a lot of different musicians. Matt joined about 3 years ago, plus or minus.
You're asking the wrong person, remember the details. It's something like that.
So he's more on the minus end. And then we found Nando, about a year
ago, a little over a year.
Year and 3 months ago?
Yeah, back in February last year.
And then we found this character wandering around outside. I don't know, it was December, I think. It was cold. We let him in.
Well, I knew CJ already, and I'd seen one of the versions of Blackleg Miner, and I went to the show prepared with tomatoes, canned tomatoes,
and you wouldn't take them out of the can.
No. But and then but yeah, it was a whole different lineup back then.
Nice.
So I think I met you on Band Mix?
Yeah, Band Mix.
Yeah, I was looking for a new band. I was like, oh, they're established. And I'd been in a band when I was younger called the Getaways from this area. And then, we did a little bit of late traveling. We played a lot of shows in the Baltimore area. And I wanted to get back into playing again after they stopped being a thing about a decade ago. And I found this guy in Band Mix. And let me say, I was impressed with what I saw. I wanted to be in a band that was good. I wanted to be in a band that already had some material that was ready to go, and we have only hit the road since then. Released that EP. We have more songs coming, and it's been a good couple of years. I can't wait to see what the next couple brings.
And I have to confess, when Matt and I found each other on Band Mix, he was saying that some of his bands that he was influenced by are like, Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith and Queen and Bad Company. And I said to Brett, our manager, I said, what the fuck is some 32-year-old guy going to know about Bad Company and Queen and Zeppelin? But man, when he came in and played, it was something else.
When you're 15 and you're learning guitar, and you want to learn you don't want to learn how to play songs. You want to learn the guitar. Classic rock is what you got. So that's what I listen to. That's what I learned.
So that was going to be kind of usually I kind of like to go back, start as early as I can. So what were some of your guys' early influences? Bonus points if you can remember the first album you bought.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me.
My first album would have been, that was Kiss Destroyer.
Nice.
And
but my guys have said that.
Yeah. Then my influences growing up were Geezer, Black Sabbath, Geddy Lee, John Paul Jones, Chris Squire, of course, you know. And then later on, you know, hearing people like Les Claypool, you know, I was like, wow. I'm nowhere, not even, I don't even try that. But yeah, those were my main influences, and John and Whistle too. You know.
Nice.
Well, like I said, you know, got my first guitar as a young teenager, and I wanted to learn to play guitar. Me and my friend really wanted to start a rock band together, which we eventually did. That was the band I was in before. We actually started out wanting to be a classic rock band, and so definitely, like he said, a lot of Led Zeppelin, The Who, The Rolling Stones, stuff like that were some of the songs I was learning. That doesn't mean that I don't like some of the new age stuff too. I listen to just about everything, especially if it has really cool guitar in it. You know, I think the first album I bought was actually a Nirvana album when I was 12. I think I bought Nevermind. You know, Provocative, the baby on the cover. You know, yeah. As a kid, I loved that album, and still do. I personally like to lean more myself in my playing towards, you know, more complicated and melodic type guitars, but I respect the hell out of good songwriting on that album. And
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. I would say, for me, it started with Elvis. I think the first record that I ever bought myself was the soundtrack to an Elvis movie called King Creole.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
This is a great
I remember
movie.
that one.
The first real, more rock album that I ever bought was Get Your Yayas Out, Live Stones. I'd say as far as my guitar playing influences, wow, it's been pretty much everybody. Probably the main ones that people know would be Pat Travers, Robin Trower, the great Leslie West. But I also have incorporated a lot of influences from other genres of music, like magnificent musician named Bill Nelson who played for Bebop Deluxe. I learned a lot from attempting and failing to copy his things. Steve Hillage from a progressive rock band called Gong. I picked up a lot of things trying and failing to imitate him. As far as the more modern shred players like Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, Yngwie Malmsteen, I think what they do is really cool. I can't play like that, and I've tried.
Don't we all wish we
And
could?
I sound, and I sound terrible trying to do it. So I stick with what I know.
Nice.
I grew up listening really to FM radio back in the heyday, 98 Rock, probably late 1970s
I've
through
heard of
the
that.
80s, early to mid 80s and such. So the center point of my musical influences is probably right around 1980. I think that was probably the greatest, the pinnacle of it all. Or maybe early 80s. Right as hard rock segued into heavy metal. So the things like Sabbath, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, those all are ingrained in my mind. I actually started becoming interested in music, listening as a younger kid to things like, or what first tuned my ears to music was things like Foreigner, Eddie Money, stuff of that nature. So Steve Miller Band. So I mean, I've kind of been all over the map over the years with things I've been influenced by or listened to.
I hear a lot
Early
of Don
90s,
Henley.
Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, some of that stuff.
Nice.
Talking Heads?
Not so much,
No,
but I
Don-
did listen to it.
Don Henley.
Hey, I'm a big
Building
Don
the
Henley
Perfect
fan.
Beast.
Alright.
I'm a big Eagles fan, actually.
So
The Eagles.
we're gonna get into the band here in a minute, but I'm always curious about the background, maybe some of the earlier bands you played in, coming up? Because people always ask me, like, have you heard of this band? Have you heard of that band? And it's always funny, like, a lot of times when people start talking about, you know, projects they used to be in, it'll be like, oh man, dude, we played a show together, like, back in the day. So I'm curious if there's any projects you were in before that you guys want to talk about.
This is my first band.
Really?
He started off on ukulele.
Yeah.
Doink.
No, I did play. I played in a couple of bands when I was, you know, first started. My very first band I was with a guy by the name of Al Morris III, a great guitar player, God rest his soul. We did a Black Sabbath tribute, and we were called Iron Man.
Oh yeah.
And that was back in, what was that? 89? 88. 88. 88. And that was short-lived for me. They went on and went into doing a doom metal band. And but I left out of that band. Then there was another local band I played with called Ace Holiday. And it was covers mostly, you know. We had a few originals. Actually, we had probably about a dozen originals that we got, you know. Nothing ever recorded, but, you know, it was fun stuff, so. And that was like, hell, back in PG County also. That was like in 92. Yeah, and then after that, I played with a band called Sun Chaser, which again was still PG County, local boys that, you know, and it was cover tunes and playing like Manny's and Rockville and the Paragon in College Park. And a few other places, yeah.
Yeah, I'll hear about venues that I completely missed.
Yeah.
And I always feel like, man, why can't some of the venues these days have cool names like that?
Right, well, we did when I was with
stuff off. I'm like, I've heard of that one. I have not heard of that one.
When I was with Iron Man, we opened up for Wrathchild America at Network, and that was a
Great band.
That was and that was a great venue, you know. But that's a CVS now, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
It went through so many names. It was the Sandbar,
Sandbar.
Seagull, AL Gators, Network,
yeah.
and there was another one I forget.
But and then that's pretty much it. Yeah, I took a break for a little bit, and then started back up with Ace Holiday again, and then from there went to a band called Rebel Soul, which is a Kid Rock tribute band, and we're still playing here and there. But then like a year ago, I ran into CJ over at a club. We were watching some shows going on, and
The Morseburgers, right?
Morseburgers, yeah. And then we got to talking. They needed a bass player. I was like, okay, well,
You happen to be one.
I'll fill in for now, you know. But
Cool.
I'll see if I can find you one.
It is a surprisingly small world too, because he said he grew up in Riverdale. Right?
Yeah.
We actually grew up probably 10, 15 minutes apart. We never knew each other, and the bands didn't overlap. But I was in an original band about 20 years ago with the guy who's now the singer in Rebel Soul. So that was the connection between
Michael
the two of
Archcott.
us.
Nice.
And we did originals. We played at some of those places he mentioned, and it is fun to be back into originals. I haven't done anything original since then, other than I tinker around with my own recordings and songwriting. But what impressed me getting involved in this project when I heard about it, Chris sent me the EP to listen to. I said, my God, and I'm somebody who listens to lyrics. Because, I write lyrics, but I listen to the lyrics when I hear a song, and it means a lot in terms of conveying the overall song product. And I hear it, and I'm like, this guy's a great wordsmith. And like, these songs are catchy, and there's hooks, and it's not lost in the sort of instrumental largesse that happens. It's
You said large.
it's good. It's hard to say. There's certain words you just can't say in this band. I actually got away with one there. You didn't catch that. But yeah, I wow, this is interesting. This is an interesting package to be involved in.
Yeah.
Had to
Yeah,
throw
you
throw a bone.
gotta keep your guard up in a good band. 'Cause they will,
Package.
any sign of weakness. Cool. Any
Yeah,
other old
got an
projects?
interesting package.
Like I said before, I used to be in a band that was polar opposite of this. Like, we played Warped Tour at like the local dates a couple times.
Nice.
We played with like All American Rejects, American Hi-Fi. Like, we were like a pop punk kind of
Yeah.
band. But we did well for ourselves. Playing around town, Record Theater, Sonar, Fletcher's, Ram's Head. And, well, I had a lot of fun playing in that band. I never really got to play the guitar that I wanted to in that band. That was definitely more, let's have fun, let's play loud, exciting music on stage. And I love those guys, if any of them are watching. Love you guys, the ones I talk to you. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. But, sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm just having a lot of memories of good times with that band. They're called the Getaways. We eventually released 3 EPs, and we ended up moving on from them, and the band kind of fell apart. I spent probably about 10 years not playing music out and about, and really missed it. And that's kind of why I ended up searching out for a band. I mean, I'd played with friends in the meantime, nothing that really became like, let's go play publicly kind of project. Although one of the groups I played with did recently get out and play their first couple of shows, which a lot of respect to them. I think they're called Half of Us Hate What We've Become. They did more like actual punk music.
There it is.
There were a couple of friends of mine that we just jammed, and they turned some of them jams into songs. But this is the band I found that lets me play the guitar I always wanted to play when I was a 15-year-old. These guys let me shred, at least a little bit.
Nice.
And when you play the shows, what I found is we just had our first show as this lineup together, and it brought back a lot, and I felt like, wow, this is really, like, it very much gelled everything for me, because there's something satisfying about these are songs that this group put out for people to hear, not just covering, umpteen different songs. I mean, I've played so many different no-name, for the most part, cover bands, tribute bands. I was in a Rat tribute out of the cellar fairly recently that had a pretty good following up in Pennsylvania. But it's a totally different scene and market from the original scene. And the rewards and benefits of it are very different. And there's something unique about doing originals.
Yeah,
It's good to get back to.
I'm in a place where I'm doing kind of like everything as a solo artist, but I kind of got sick of that routine of you'd get together with some guys and everyone would be like super passionate, but then like as soon as you got like some momentum going, that's when everything would kind of start to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to find the right group of people that'll put the work in and the time and the effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all, do well enough there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, back in the mid '80s, in '84, I guess that's mid. I helped start a very intense power metal band called Apollo Ra, and we had one album out. I didn't play on it, but we played a number of shows. And one of the things I take pride in, and you'll laugh at me when I say this, is that I am the only musician I know, other than my former bandmates, that actually has a tribute band to my music that I helped create. Now it is very true, the band is in Cyprus, and they only get together and play 3 or 4 times a year, but nonetheless, They are a tribute band to our music.
Nice.
And then
Awesome.
in the
I've never heard of that.
well,
Yeah.
so
To the group you were talking about.
you
You're gonna, have
could-
to, you're gonna have to send me the link. I
You,
need to see that.
could have been a little politer about it, Matt.
Oh,
Just putting that out there on the table for you.
I've looked up Apollo Ross stuff. You had a tribute band. That's
Yeah, so what about after Apollo Raw?
Oh, yeah, in the early 90s, I was in a group called Race the Rat. And then
Okay.
when we started communicating together again on Facebook, that was in like December of 2012. And then we sort of semi-officially reformulated in the spring of 13. And I played with them for several years.
So I'm pretty sure I played a show with Race the Rat.
Still active.
And they're still going. The only original member is Jeff, the lead singer.
Yep, Mr. Sherman.
Mr. Sharma, yes. And
Good guy.
here I am today
Nice.
with these disreputable people. And I fit right in.
You want to throw any shout outs out there to any old projects or?
Not in particular. I mean, I got an active project now, the Black Sabbath show, which
Nice.
we may end up pairing up with. There's a couple collaborations of people that have been involved in the same project, so there's kind of a 15, 20 years of familiarity between the people, and it's always pleasant to play in projects with those folks and get them off the table and out into the bars.
Nice.
So we've been in and out of the bars with a few lineup changes, but it's a good project too. And currently I'm in a Judas Priest tribute called Metal Gods Tribute, where we do pretty much the full range of Priest.
But you guys got a show coming up?
June 7th, yeah, Double Barrel Roadhouse. We're opening for the Motley Crue tribute, Shout at the Devil.
Nice.
We're out again?
Double Barrel Roadhouse up in Red Lion, PA.
On what day?
June 7th, Saturday.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks.
Get some people up there.
There we go.
Cool.
Yeah,
I want to
coming
get
up.
into talking about the band, but I don't think we got a chance earlier to introduce Brett over here. Brett, you want to say hi and talk about what you do for the band?
Sure. My name's Brett Hunt. I ran into Murphy in about 2019 when he was with I guess one of the original bands. Seen him, seen the band, and immediately knew that he was in trouble. He needed some talent around him, and he was a very talented guy. His writing, his guitar play, it was a magnet to me. But I was like, you need help, So I pulled him to the side, and I'm like, you don't see your problems, and he was doing so much to try to do so good that things were getting him away from him with the talent that he had. And then we went through multiple, we got together, I became the manager, and we went through multiple bass players, multiple drummers, just to try to get the right click and the right group and the right, it's hard to get 4 guys that get along and are committed. Don't mind if this guy don't show up one night for this, but everybody keeps doing their homework and going on. But anyway, I do production, producing the EPs. I help out with producing the videos. Hell, I sung backing vocals on the first EP. So I wear like 52 hats, but basically I'm the manager of the band. I do 90% of the booking, and I help write. I'm here every rehearsal. I help write songs. I have my input in it. So I have a real good time with these guys, and this is the best group of guys that's been in this room, and the most talented guys. If you count the years between them, which they probably don't want to say because it would go over 100. They got a lot of talent sitting right there in front of you that I'm proud of. And when they go out and play, I'm very proud of them. When I sit back here and I watch them and I see the reaction from the crowd when they hear their original songs. And it's like, we made these up from scrap. And these guys put a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat. And not too many tears, but a lot of sweat. And or maybe a little bit of bickering here and there, but it's all good, because look, they're all here. And it's what you need is a solid lineup. And that's what we want. Another year from now, you come back and see us again, and them same 4 guys are right there. we're gonna be kicking it out. You know, we got another EP coming out. I'm sure these guys will share that with you, but got a lot of things in the works. We just got to get these guys out in front of people, and we appreciate people like you getting us out there.
Well, we appreciate you too, bro.
Yeah, try, man. Try to help. Always try to help spread the word about local talent.
But now,
guys-
just to straighten things out, though, he does help with it with the writing because CJ can't spell.
All right, so you've got the Blackleg Miner EP out. I believe 5 songs on there. I was listening to it. I listened to it a few times. Just kind of put some notes down. I mean, obviously, a very kind of classic rock, hard rock.
Yeah.
You know, I was getting Van Halen, Black Sabbath, Motley Crue, Def Leppard vibes.
That's definitely what we're going for.
You know,
Steppenwolf.
so the first song, Tequila No Mo, classic drinking song, definitely a bar anthem. What's the story behind that song?
These are gonna be questions for this thing.
Here we go. Wow. Hey, wait a minute. Put your 13-year-olds away.
That's right. Well, I would say most of the songs have some autobiographical element in them. And of course, the song tells a story of a certain individual who may or may not have been under the influence of alcohol, getting into some legal trouble, and his lovely young Hispanic girlfriend, who may or may not have been there at the time, basically refusing to bail him out, and then the individual stated he was never going to do it again, drink tequila, but what did he wind up doing?
Yeah,
Drinking
drinking
tequila
tequila.
again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of the story behind that song.
Nice.
She gave me the bottle, Sheriff. Not my fault.
So you got the song "Kiss All Night." It's kind of like to me, like your kind of sexy rock anthem.
That one's a
Tell
catchy
me-
one. I always thought that was a catchy one. From
I
the
want to
first
know
time I
the
heard it.
story. I want to know the story about the song "Don't Not Do That"
Yeah.
because it took me a few times just trying to get the name down.
So
Yeah.
that's a question for me. So, well, it is true. This man, CJ, does most of the writing. I do occasionally come in with some guitar stuff and be like, hey, this is kind of cool. Like, could we make a song out of this? So we have 3 or 4 songs now where I've kind of done a good bit of the guitar. And then we kind of built around that. That's usually the process. I mean, even his songs I take and I'm like, no, I'm going to change this. You know, I think it sounds better this way. And eventually we come to the collaborative product and it sounds great. So he said when I first joined the band, this was maybe, you know, I'd been here a couple of months, just kind of learning the songs that were already written, that we needed a song that was upper tempo and had kind of a moving riff. And what was the song? It was an AC/DC song, you told me.
I said, go listen to an old AC/DC song called Beatin' Around the Bush. And we need a kind of snappy riff like that.
And I listened to it, and I got my guitar out and got in the zone, and that is what I came up with, the moving guitar part on that. Brought it to CJ and said, do we like this? We liked it.
Hell yeah.
And over time, we kind of came through different evolutions of it. He ended up writing lyrics. I wish I could write lyrics. I'm trying to learn from the master. But my lyrics all sound like, 5th grade love poems. They're just, no. Let me play what a guitar. That's what I'm good at.
Perfect. Tell them where the title of the song came from.
Well, the lyrics
What
of that
goes on in this room and the title.
the lyrics of
He
that
came
song.
up with the hook. I'm sorry, but you had to put the rest to it.
Yeah, the lyrics came about because there was a former band member who had some various lyrics and guitar riffs and stuff that he wanted to collaborate on. And he would say things to me like, just sing it your way, come up with your own melody for some of these words that he had. And I would do that and come up with guitar riffs. And a lot of times he'd be standing over on the other side of the room while I was playing. He'd be going, and shaking his head. And I'm like, what did you think? And he'd say, I don't know. I would say something like, well, what do you want, in terms of a melody? And he would say, well, not that. He was a guy, in my opinion, who... There are some people in life who are happiest when they're bitching about something.
But never satisfied.
And he seemed to be that. He definitely was more focused on problems than solutions. So, and he would never give me really any kind of guidance as to what he would want. He said, well don't do that. And so I just came, and he used to tell me, you got to sing with conviction. Well, what do you mean? Well, not like that. So that's where the line comes from. Do it with conviction. That's what you demand. No interpretation. I don't understand.
Nice.
And when I heard that to the guitar part, I was like, love
then
it.
when you-
And it just
Win it.
became what it is over some
And then
time.
when he came up with the hook, you would tell him, don't not do that.
Right, because I liked it. I would
do
say,
that,
did you
and
hear?
then it became the title of the song.
Right.
Of you telling him, don't not do that. What you did there, don't not do that again.
Yeah, don't not do that.
It came out pretty cool. It was a cool riff.
Fucking A.
So I know a couple of you guys weren't part of the group yet when this EP was made.
Yeah. Me and Bo.
But I mean, I assume you guys have been playing these songs
Oh, yeah.
live.
Oh, yeah.
The next song, "Go for Your Life," I noticed had some really groovy bass parts going on it. The song kind of reminds me of "Running with the Devil" a little bit.
Yeah.
But is that a fun song to play?
I like it. It's a cool song. I mean, I add my own little flair to it, but I basically keep it the same, I mean, all the songs on the EP I think are great, but
Yeah.
that one, yeah, it's got a nice little drive to it with the, the bass.
Maybe a little Motley Crue.
But there are some you've come up with really cool riffs too that you guys haven't had a chance to hear yet.
Yeah.
Unless you've come and seen us live.
Yeah.
Where you completely authored it, like "Shots Fired in Anger," which is going to be a song that might be on an upcoming album that we might be working on, may or may not be. I don't want to confirm or deny.
It's
But,
coming out next season.
Yeah, it is simultaneously one of it holds down the groove, but it moves at the same time, kind of bass line. It's good. It's good. Good bass line.
That's one thing I like about working with CJ and Matt and now Bo.
This guy.
It's they do give me my own creative freedom. Yeah, they'll might suggest this or that, and fuck you, but no.
We don't dunk them in the toilet and then
Yeah.
bring them back into
Yeah.
the band room. It's not one of those.
No, but
Yeah, we don't bring him back.
I get the creative freedom that I like, and then if I do have any questions about something, I'll say, hey, ask for suggestions, but yeah, it's been fun with them.
Nice. The last song on the EP, "Little Miss Silver Dress," to me,
It's a
the
tawdry
drum
story.
Yeah, the drums on that song kind of stuck out to me. Like, just in general, I felt like there was a lot more happening in that song. Is that a song that's fun for you to play?
Yeah, there's a lot of license given in this band to kind of embellish things a bit or personalize the songs that have already been done.
Is
and
this
make
a
it
song you
your
play
way.
like
How would
closer to
you
the
play
end
it?
of the night, or like I noticed the ending kind of had like a big jam going on there at the end?
Well, one of the reasons for that big jam is that depending on how long the set runs, if we need to fill up some time, we'll keep that going. If we're running out of time, I'll say, guys, don't play the end jam.
There's a non-recorded short version.
There's a
of
short
that
A
song,
part and
yeah.
the B part, so it could be either one or both.
That's cool. That's good. And I feel like you're doing one of those shows.
But
with
if
a
we're gonna record
shorter
it-
set and you want to squeeze it in there, you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, but if we're gonna record it, let's do the long version.
And it's,
Let's
nice,
give the
it's
people
nice
what they
that
want.
there's a lot of that struck me when I first became familiar with that EP too. Was the variety of the songs was almost like a Led Zeppelin-esque You know, if you
That's
took
why I said
Zeppelin
CJ,
and you played
well,
one song from
I
the
didn't
first
use that
album and one
reference.
from the second, it didn't sound all homogenized.
I appreciated
You
that
know?
too when listening. It did feel like each song had its own flavor.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like kind of like a same thing rehashed differently. So
Like an AC/DC
much
album.
props to that. You know.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not.
It's just, it's not us.
But
Yeah.
so when you guys are playing out, you guys are doing a mix of songs off the CP. I'm assuming songs you've written that aren't out yet and some covers.
Just a sprinkle,
Yeah.
just for some space.
And they seem to mesh pretty well. I mean, the new stuff, it's clearly within the same overall genre, I guess.
I
if you
think
call
it's
it
a
that,
little
but it's-
harder.
Yeah.
Most of them, yeah,
Little
they're
heavier.
a little heavier, yeah.
But not
a radical
But,
departure,
yeah.
not
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that completely
Like the heaviest
redefines
thing we
the
ever did
Yeah.
was that Megadeth song, Symphony of Destruction.
Oh, yeah.
or like
These guys are
fills in
about it.
some spaces that we're missing.
Now, where did you guys record that E EP?
That was recorded at a place called GDA Productions down towards Millersville, I think. And the engineer who was there, he'd never really worked on a rock record before. And we had a few difficulties getting some of the performances to be right. And eventually, when we sent it down to the engineer that we work with, Jeff Chance down in Nashville, he was telling us that, you know, this has to be fixed, that has to be fixed. The drums were not recorded right. Jeff had to play a couple of the bass parts himself and re-record it. And it was kind of a mishmash, so to speak, and it didn't come out sonically quite the way we wanted it to. But this upcoming sumbitch is going to.
Nice.
And it still sounds good, let's be honest.
Oh, I
They
don't
still pulled
dislike it.
off, yeah. And I gotta say, as somebody, like, I dabble sometimes in doing audio engineering and stuff just for fun. You know, I've recorded, like, demos for some of our songs so we can kind of, like, narrow down how exactly they sound. I record our practices each week. It's fun, just try to, like, mix them up as best I can with the resources I've got. But not going for pro here. But they did a good job with it. I know we can do better. And there's always a challenge when you're recording, I guess, across communication lines. We would love to actually go record with Jeff in Nashville. That wasn't a possibility for this album. At some point, we would love to probably try to do that. Because when you have your engineer working directly with whoever's mixing it or being the person who's mixing it,
Yeah,
they
it's a
kind of
big
have the
difference.
vision in mind when you're recording it. I
you
don't know if you've
guys-
seen that in projects you've been in.
Yeah. Did you guys play that like live together? Did like the drummer?
Oh yeah, we
play
did. And
the
the take of "Don't Not Do That" you hear was the first take. Everybody in the
Nice.
room.
Excellent.
We
Super
did record
cool.
more than one just to be safe, but that first take was what we used across the board.
Yeah, there's not a lot of places doing that anymore. I'm very much in the realm of.
I was hesitant at
Put it-
first.
put
That's
it,
not
you
what I
know.
was used to, but
Live
we made it work.
I have songs that I've done where we did the drums last, and you know it works, but it's just like, it's kind of like a different way to be creative within the song. But
Pure multi-tracking.
yeah,
Well, we in the studio for that EP, we worked with a great drummer that Brett's known for many years, named Brian Harrison, and the guy is a human click track. I mean, he stayed on the tempo. I could hardly believe it. But you know, with that said, you know, when you play live, obviously the tempo is going to go up and down a little bit. But I think it came out okay.
nice. So you know, got one EP out, got another one in the works. Any other cool stuff in the pipeline you guys want to talk about? Any big shows coming up? Any you know?
No, we don't have any shows. though.
Well, we don't have anything booked at this time. I know within the next few weeks, we're going to be doing some, you know, live on stage recording here at Orion Studios, which is where we are, to get an updated electronic press kit
Nice.
and post that on the website, blacklegminer.com.
Yep.
Isn't that creative?
And we're also on Facebook and all your other places. You can listen to our music on Spotify and Apple Music. And yeah, we are actively looking to book a couple of shows later on in the summer. I mean, we intend, now that this lineup is solidified, we're practiced, we sound good, we've written some stuff where everybody gets to contribute. We're ready to go start sharing it.
We got what, eight songs?
You say we're going to release 8 tracks?
Yeah, 8 tracks. That's right.
And I think that market is going to make a comeback.
Yeah.
Big 8-track thing. Yeah, we have 8 or 9 new songs
Yeah.
that we're rehearsing and kind of sifting through to see what's going to be on the next record.
I'd say 3 of them are pretty good, solid already. 9 Lives.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
And While the Getting's
Yeah,
Good.
the Getting's good. And the others.
That's a great song, by the way.
The others we still got to bring Bo up to speed on.
We're actually going to do that after we're done here tonight. We have 2 new songs that he hasn't really practiced yet. We're going to start working on them, expanding them, let him put his twist on them. I can't wait to hear what you do, especially to the one that we're going to play tonight, Green Saw Red.
Yeah.
That's like an old school, slow, heavy Led Zeppelin jam
Sounds
song.
good from what I hear.
Yeah. We don't have one like that yet.
Well, we do. He just doesn't know it yet.
Right.
There, what he said.
So, just before we wrap up, I'd just like to throw a few fun questions out there. So, for each one of you guys, right now, what original is your favorite song to play live?
Shots fired.
You're going to have to give me a second to think about that, so can we loop back to me?
With most fun, I would have to go with Kiss All Night. I like that song.
Yeah,
a lot.
that is a good one too. Yeah.
Probably Rattlesnake Boots.
That's another good one.
And I'm going to agree with him after thinking about it. That one, just there's a lot of like meshing going on where all the layers just come together to be something bigger than it was like on its own. And
Bigger.
It's such a good song. It's
Nice.
so catchy.
Brett, what's your favorite song that they play?
Oh,
You like hearing them play?
yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the new song, Shots Fired.
Nice.
We're gonna record Shots Fired and Getting's Good right here at Orion, and we're gonna shoot that out with 2 videos as we're finishing up recording the 7-song EP. So we're gonna put them 2 out and start playing them, give you all a little taste of our new music. But Shots Fired I would say off our new EP, and Tequila, No Mo,
Nice.
off the first EP.
No Mo.
Yeah, I do a lot of shows where I play a lot of covers, so I know there's sometimes songs that are more fulfilling to play, but any covers you guys are doing that you are particularly fond of?
Well, we only do a couple anyway, but I do like oh damn it. The MSG.
Here's a couple right here.
The
I just want to
MSG.
say, I see Lunatic.
There's some on the board.
I see
Yeah.
Lunatic Fringe up there, and that's got
Is
me
that up
excited.
there?
Yeah, it's down there on the-
It's one that we're going to
This
work
is a
on.
shared room, so
Okay.
there's some other stuff.
Oh yeah, someone else.
But
Other-
old Quick Draw McGraw.
Yeah.
That was fun.
We do it.
Me,
Right.
Mary Jane.
Lighten Up McGraw. That's
That's the
fun
Crack
to
the
play.
Sky cover, which I had never heard of them until these guys
And,
thankfully introduced me to them.
Fairies Wear
Amazing.
Boots.
A number of songs that are kind of in the vein of the late 70s jam rock band material, which, I like the sort of things that evoke like Pat Travers or some of those other guitar-oriented rock songs. Heavily guitar.
I gotta say my favorite is Snortin' Whiskey.
Yeah.
That's a song I had never heard before,
That's what I was
but it
reaching
gives me
for.
a chance to put that like hot
Yeah,
rockabilly
yeah.
country twang on things a little bit, and I don't get to do that anywhere else, and it's fun.
What about
Yeah,
Rattlesnake?
their songs really.
That is true. There's a little bit of that there too, but I have fun playing that style for a minute.
Yeah.
I would say of the covers that we currently do. Well, "Lighten Up McGraw" by Crack the Sky is I love that
Nice.
song. We also do an old Michael Schenker group song called "Feels Like a Good
That'd
Thing."
probably be my
That
second.
always gets a great response, and I love it when people come up to us and ask about that song. Oh wow! When did you guys write that song? Is that going to be on your new record? I'm like, well, yeah, no, it was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Well, it's nice that the covers are not the covers that everybody's playing in the
Yeah.
cover bands.
Yeah, I
you know,
respect
so
that.
And we all
it
kind
makes it
of
more interesting.
suggest at some points. We sometimes play Good Times, Bad Times by Led Zeppelin. That was one that I kind of
Nice.
said my old band used to play, like a more punk version of it. Like, I kind of know it. And hey, we came in here and we rock out to that one.
Yeah, like I always felt like a lot of the songs I do are like generally popular songs, but I'll still get like people that say that what I'm doing is a lot different than what they're hearing a lot of people do. I guess there's a lot of people that just play Wagon Wheel and Sweet Caroline.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Wagon Wheel.
Well, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
alright.
Like Judas Priest has so many songs in their catalog, but almost every cover band is playing Diamonds and Rust. I always loved Diamonds and Rust as a song to play, but I had no idea. Oh, everybody else is playing that. Like of all the songs, why that song? I guess everybody believes it's a good song.
And there's nothing wrong with having a few of those that you add from time to time. I mean, in different versions of the group, we've played Mississippi Queen before, and that's. I mean, I don't know that I want to do it every single set, but I like the song. It's fun to play once in a while.
It's one you can just throw out there real quick. Too.
Sometimes I change the lyrics a little bit when these guys aren't listening.
I think Too Hot to Handle's another one that's a little bit more like a straightforward kind of like, it's a catchy song, but it's short and sweet and it's good, but we have fun playing it, and I think that one kind of fits our genre, our style a little bit better. We get to do a little bit more fancy guitar work. The drum beats got kind of some skips. That's another one I think a lot of people would know that we have a fun time doing.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks again for doing this, guys. I look forward to seeing what you guys got coming up, and keep me updated on when you guys are playing, and I'll
We'll do.
Yeah,
we appreciate you coming out.
Thank you so very, very much,
will have
man.
gigs
Appreciate
coming
you stopping
soon.
by.
Check us out on
Applause.
anywhere you can stream music. Blackleg Miner.
Blacklegminer.com.
Blackleg. Oh no, I'm not wearing my shirt today.
For once.
Links to check out Blackleg Miner are in the description. They have an EP out and they have more music on the way. Check out their website for all their upcoming shows. Thank you for tuning in.